Hello grade 7, how are you? Hope you all are doing well. In this video we will complete solving the revision sheets, and this will be the last video in solving the revision sheets. In the previous video we stopped until question 20, so we will start from 21. Let's start. Question 21. Magnetism, solubility, malleability, they all are physical properties of matter. What makes these properties different from the chemical properties? What's the difference between physical properties and chemical properties? Physical properties relate to element rather than compound. It's only for elements. Physical properties appear only after chemical change. Or physical property can be observed without changing the identity. Letter C is the answer because physical properties we observe like mass, like color, like volume, like shape, like texture. All of them we observe, and they don't change the substance into new substance, so we will choose letter C. Question 22. Pictures below show 4 objects: paper clip, a pair of scissors, needle, and a horseshoe. Here we have the paper clip, the scissors, and needle and horseshoe. Which of these physical properties is not similar in all 4 of these objects? Let's say that they all made of the same substance. They all are made of steel. The only thing is different between all of them is the mass, because the horseshoe has the biggest mass while the needle has the lowest mass, so they don't have the same mass, but they all are the same in all these 3 properties. Question 23. A water molecule is made up of 1 oxygen atom and 2 hydrogen atoms. Why is water considered as a pure substance? Why we say that water is a pure substance? Because water can be broken down by physical means. You can break down water by freezing, by melting, by dissolving sugar in it. Of course, no. Water can be combined with other substances by physical means. Each water molecule is identical. Yes, each water molecule is identical. The water in the sea, like the water in the cup, like the water in the puddle and the street, they all are the same. They have the same ingredients or the same elements, hydrogen and oxygen. So we are going to choose letter C. They all are identical. Each water molecule is made of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Question 24. All matter has physical and chemical properties. These properties can be used to identify the type of matter. Which of these statements describes a chemical property? As we said before, physical properties, they don't change the identity of the substance. The physical properties can be observed, like color, like shape, like texture, like melting point, boiling point, conductivity, malleability. All of them, they are physical properties. But for chemical properties, we have only 2 chemical properties. Reactivity, it means if the matter reacts with other substances or no, and flammability, if matter burns easily or no. So let's see which one of them is a chemical property. A particle substance evaporates at 30 Celsius, or 2 meter long metal bar has a mass of 176 grams, or a certain heavy metal turns to a liquid at room temperature, or a metal is added to a beaker of water and the beaker explodes. The only one here that shows chemical property is letter D, because reactivity is a chemical property. Question 25. The 2 beakers shown below contain pure substance. We have in the 2 beakers, we have pure substance, we have water. Which of these properties is the same in the 2 beakers? Both of them have the same mass? Of course no, because they don't have the same amount of water. They have the same weight? Of course no, because if they have different mass, so they will have different weight. Density, yes, they have the same density. Density for water is 1. So both of them have the same density. And they don't have, of course, the same volume. Here it's about 150, here about 250 milliliters, so they only share the density. Question 26. One chemical property that can be measured in a substance is its reactivity with water. What is another chemical property? As I mentioned before, that we have only 2 chemical properties. We have reactivity, one of them, and the other one is flammability, or how it easily burns. So question 27. A beaker containing ice and water is placed on a warm hot plate. So we have like a cup of ice, and we put the ice inside a hot warm hot plate. Will the ice in the beaker undergo a physical change or a chemical change? If you remember, we said that melting, because we change a solid to a liquid, so this is melting. The changing in state is a physical change, because it will change state only. We will not have new substance. When you melt ice, it still is water. It will not be a new substance. So we are going to choose letter A. 28. Which process represents a chemical change? Which one of them is a chemical change? A chemical change, as we know, it produces new substance or changes identity of the substance. So letter A, a lake freezes over into ice, or a metal bar is rolled into a flat sheet. We change the metal into flat sheet, or vinegar bubbles when baking soda is added, or sand, water, and salt combine to form a mixture. Which one here will make new substance? Yes, the vinegar with the baking soda. And we have a sign here for chemical change, bubbles. Do you remember when we said that we have signs for chemical change, like releasing bubbles, like releasing light, sound, heat, changing in color? They all are signs for chemical change. So we're going to choose letter C, vinegar and baking soda. Next question 29. The 4 items below were part of a dinner. Each item is a mixture. We have the salad dressing, and the salad dressing, that what we put on salad, it's made of oil, vinegar, spices, gelatin or jelly, whipped cream, and apple juice. So the question is, which of these mixtures is a suspension? Which of them is a suspension? And yes, the suspension is a salad dressing, because as I said, the oil and the vinegar and the oil and the vinegar actually they don't mix together, and even the spices. So each component of the salad dressing, they settle out or separate from the mixture, and that's why we call it suspension. So we're going to choose letter A. Question 31. Which statement is true of all matter? All matter has mass. It can be seen. It exists only as a solid. It maintains its shape and size. As we know from before, that matter is anything that has mass and takes up space or volume. So we're going to choose letter A. A metal coin has a certain property that can be measured. Which property of coin is different on the moon than on Earth? The coin has different weight on moon and Earth, because as we said, the weight is the amount of gravitational force on the object. And as we know also that the moon has less gravitational force than the Earth, and that's why the coin will have different weight on both places or locations. Question 33. Which process is an example of physical change? Which one of them is a physical change? Carrots are cut into small pieces and mixed into salad. Peanut butter sandwich is eaten and broken down by enzymes. Sodium, metal, and chlorine gas, they combine together to make sodium chloride, which is new substance. Metal and water are combined to form a basic compound, and here also we have new substance. So the only physical change here, that the carrots are cut into smaller pieces. When we cut the carrot, it will stay the same. It will not be new substance. But all the three cases, in all the three cases here, the substance change and the new matter is formed. Question 34. Which process is an example of chemical change? Which one here is a chemical change? An iron nail rusting nail. Glass water cooling while you take a bath. A piece of metal being heated until it expands or changes the size. A glass window breaking when hit with a baseball. All of them are physical changes except the iron nail rusting, because rusting. 35. Marco tears a piece of notebook. Here we have the paper, and after we cut the paper into smaller pieces. So here what happens? Tearing paper into pieces is an example of what kind of change? Change in mass, physical change, chemical change, a change in energy. Of course, cutting paper into smaller pieces, this is a physical change, because as we said, the paper will not change into new substance. It will have the same identity. And here also they have the same mass. If you cut the paper, they will keep the mass like the original paper or the paper before cutting, and this is called law of conservation of mass. So we're going to choose physical change. Question 36. When paper is burned, here we have burning. The mass of the remaining ash is less than the mass of the original paper. I just said it now. The law of conservation of mass, that the mass before change is the same mass after change. So what happens to the rest of the mass? Why the ash has less mass? It means that the ash has less volume than the paper, or some of the matter is destroyed during their action. And this is actually cannot happen because matter cannot be destroyed. The mass of the ash cannot be accurately determined. We cannot measure the mass of the ash. Of course, no, we can measure it by balance, normal. Or some of the products of the reaction were given off as a gas. Yes, the answer is letter D, because true that carbon dioxide and gases given off, and they have mass also. So the mass of the gas that given off and the mass of the ash, both of them together, they equal the mass of the paper before burning. And this is again means law of conservation of mass. Question 37, we have here 3 beakers, and in the 3 beakers we have different states of matter. We have liquid, solid, and gas. What do each of the state matter have in common? All of them, they have what in common? The particles are locked into position, they don't move, or the particles in each are in constant motion, they are always in motion, particles here, or the particles take the shape of their containers, or the particles have the same volume in each container. The most reasonable answer here is that particles in each are in constant motion. As we said that matter, they have particles, and particles are always in motion, or they are always moving because they have energy. In liquid they slide, in gas, in solid they vibrate, in gas they move freely, so we are going to choose letter B. Question 38, which of these common substances is a homogeneous mixture? And in homogeneous mixture, components are mixed evenly or completely. Like table salt alone is not a mixture. Table salt is a compound. Pure water is a pure substance, it's not mixture too. Whole milk is a mixture, but this kind of mixture we call it colloid, which is not homogeneous. Colloids are heterogeneous. So the only homogeneous here is maple syrup. Maple syrup is like honey, and it's the components of the maple syrup, they are all mixed together, and it's evenly distributed throughout, so it's a homogeneous mixture. Question 39. Reactant A and reactant B undergo a chemical reaction to form a product C. What type of substance is product C? Product C is an atom, a mixture, an element, a compound. So question, here we have substance A, which is oxygen, and substance B, which is hydrogen. When they combine together, they make water, and water is a compound. Which state of matter will take both the volume and the shape of the container that holds it? Gas takes the shape and the volume of the containers. Okay. Last question 41, we have here 2 balloons. This balloon, we put it in the freezer for 20 minutes, and after we put it in the freezer, this is how it looks now. So the question here, what happens when we freeze the balloon? The particles inside, the energy increased, they have more energy. When we freeze them, they will get more energy? Of course, no. So we were not going to choose A or B because energy is not increased. But we decreased the energy. By freezing, we remove energy from particles. So decreased energy decreases the attraction between particles, or decreased energy increases the attraction between particles. So when we decrease the energy here, particles they come together, and in this case the attraction between them increases. So we are going to choose letter D. Okay, so this is everything for the revision sheet, grade 7. Study well and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.